Hey guys, so for our reading unit, remember we're talking about biographies, right? Yesterday we talked about what biographies were. It's a something written about somebody important, but it's written by somebody else. So you're talking about it's nonfiction, so it's not fiction related at all. It is something that was written about a person, but somebody else wrote it. So it's not like where Michael Jordan would write his own biography. Okay, so that's a biography. And we talked a little bit about that yesterday. And remember, you were to kind of pick a person you want to read on or about. We talked about Martin Luther King Jr., Michael Jordan, anybody like that. That is somebody that you could read about. Um, Figures in American history. So we talked about George Washington, a president, Ben Franklin, Alexander Graham Bell. That would be somebody. Athletes. A lot of you can relate to athletes as far as somebody to find a biography about. People that were in science and technology, so like scientists, inventors, doctors. That's a good one. Artists, so people like who write books, artists, poets, singers. You can find information on explorers like famous astronauts, Neil Armstrong, deep sea divers. Um, you can look at Christopher Columbus. Those things, that's something that you can do as far as what you want to look for somebody to do your biography on. You can do, yeah, George Washington, something like that. And remember, what you're doing is when you're looking for a biography is who is this the character? Who's a character you want to read about, and what kind of place does this person live in? What kind of person was he or she? Okay, so were they famous for being an American president? Were they famous for being a singer? And those type of things. So that's what you're looking for when you're doing your biographies. And just like you did with our some of our fiction stuff, you're looking at the daily actions of those people and the speech of the subjects that you're reading your biographies, and ask, so what does this tell me about this person? What does it tell me of them? Like um, what is this person's daily like? And then think about also as you're learning information about your subject, kind of like we talked about when we had to cite evidence. We had to go back to the text to get text evidence. Think about that. You can say that I think George Washington was a brilliant leader because I think this way on page so and so of this book, it says this, this, and this. So you're almost kind of thinking along those lines that we did when we were citing evidence in some of our writing. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. Those are bits of information that you're going to find and note and take information down on. Um, Also, as you're reading about your person, usually that person had influences in their life, parents, other teachers, maybe lifelong friends, those things. So, as you're trying to understand your subject's life better, note what role other people played in their life. Okay, like if you're looking at like a George Washington or even like a Neil Armstrong, an astronaut or a famous doctor or something along those lines. Usually somebody helped them out, gave them advice, gave them encouragement when they needed it. So look for those things, what roles other people played in their life, and ask yourself these questions. Who influenced this subject? And what role did this person play in their struggle? obviously they struggled to overcome some things, because that's the whole point typically of a biography, is they they were born, they lived this way. Maybe the struggle was early in their life, maybe it was later in their life, but something happened along the way, and this person, whoever you're reading about, had to overcome some things. And usually they just didn't do it by themselves. They had help. They had a partner, they had a friend, they had a family member, an educator, a teacher, or somebody that along the way that gave them advice that kind of helped them go through. Okay. So as you're doing that, ask yourself some of those questions. Okay. Because typically your biography, you might know a little bit about that person, which is why you chose them, or they sounded interesting. So, usually you have a little bit of background information, and that's what you're going to draw upon, and that's what you're going to help um, you answer these questions. Okay. So nice, John. Keep it going. If you have questions or anything, feel free to email me. Again, this reading counts for your reading time. Make sure you are logging this in your reader's log, and tell me what book it is. If it's a biography, tell me biography of whoever, and make sure you're notating that. Okay, good job.